So I really don't care for Rubio, but one of the things is he's not afraid to call out the UFO subject. So he's talking about public figures. Uh, he's trying to be protective of some of these people still work in government, and a lot of them are fearful for their jobs, fearful for their security clearances, for their careers, and frankly, fearful of harm coming to them. I will say I find most of these people at some point or maybe even currently, have held very high security clearances and high positions within our government. So you have to ask yourself, what incentive would so many people with that kind of qualification have to come forward and make something up? You see, that's basic logic. These people are coming forward for the same reason that I have been talking about the same thing for the last 30 years, 40 years. This ace in the hole technology at one time, at one time, was considered so sensitive, so desperately important that they were willing to assassinate people for it because it was that important. Wow. Lots of important people fell out hospital windows, just like what happens in Russia, okay? Now they're struggling to come out. They want to keep some stuff secret, but at the same time, they need an open budget. They need a budget. So first you officially start a Space Force with their own uniforms, and then you start leaking all of this UFO information out. And you watch, there's going to be a marriage between those two, the UFO phenomenon and the United States Space Force. They're going to start to be more and more and more brought together as a single entity. This is who's going to study it. This is who's going to be in charge. This is who's in charge of the budget for research for this. And that's how it'll happen. They need to be able to come out. The technology that they were given in the beginning to back engineer has run its course. And now they're basically, they just need more money. They can't get it in the black budgets. So they need to get it out into the public. So I'm always very wary about these people he's talking about that are coming forward. Oh, we're really fearful, but we're coming forward and we want to talk about it. And I'm like, there are ways of making what you want to say public available and out there right now. If it's that important to you, then just tell us. You see, what would you think of these people who, now listen, the American public owns all of this technology. The American public owns all of this technology, okay? What would you say if they told you, oh, well, we've been researching a device we found on a vehicle from somewhere else, and it looks like a big block of plexiglass, and it makes electricity, and it can run a wristwatch, or it can run a New York City. What would you say about them keeping that secret? It belongs to the American public. It belongs to the world. What would you say about a certain small group of individuals keeping that a secret? What would you feel about that? Would that outrage you? It should. You see, that's what bothers me, is there's technologies that they don't want anyone else to have, including the American public. Because if they let the American people use this product in a useful way, right? then they're terrified and they're afraid because they know how people are, that sooner or later that information is going to get to our enemies. And you see, I've tried to always point out that, you know, if we had energy sources like that, there wouldn't be any enemies. There wouldn't be any ideological reason to start a fight with anyone unless you want to be like Vladimir Putin and say, well, oh, there's Nazis living over there. I like that nice soil they have. Let's just go take it. You see, when everyone in the world has everything that they need, then what? Big oil, gone. Government control of everything, gone. Corporate control of everything, gone. You could literally make all the fresh water you wanted to completely make the Saharan desert green. You could build machines that would clean our air, like my damn air filter in my room. Giant machines that would literally clean our atmosphere. Even after our atmosphere was done, we could control it and make it perfect. You see, infinite energy is the Holy Grail. Besides manipulative, you know, quantum, not transporters. Well, I guess a transporter is the same thing, right? But the Gene Roddenberry technology, where you just walk up to a machine and on a quantum level, it assembles whatever you ask for. The replicator. Give me a chicken sandwich. There's a chicken sandwich. Now, it's made of the same thing everything else is made out of. It's just arranged into a chicken sandwich. You see, once you can do that, no one needs anyone else, do they? You might as well say, start producing what I want you to produce is I want you to produce me a 6-inch by 6-inch piece of timber that is exactly this type of structure on the inside. So you're really replicating a prime piece of a tree in a 6 by 6 piece of lumber that you could still build your house out of stick lumber, except all the muons and fields and all of the protons and everything would all come from waste, our garbage, our shit, our pollution. You see, infinite energy, that's the answer. And they're willing to absolutely kill anyone to protect that. That is a deadly secret. They'll kill anyone. Now, yeah, it's been talked about for a while. People have come out and talked about it, that they saw it, etc. I was sitting in my car when they set off one of their little experiments. I talked about that about 10 years ago. I did a video. I talked about sitting in my car at Nellis, and my car starts doing this. Little squeaky Pontiac. And it was announced as an unscheduled nuclear test. There's no such fucking thing, folks. I can tell you, guarantee you that. Nothing nuclear is unscheduled. Yeah, you see, he's talking about, you got the Alessandro character, right? That guy is fucking Black Project up the goddamn ass, man. That guy is as fucking black as it gets, man. He is a fucking fear-mongering mouthpiece for the exact fucking people that are against us. That motherfucker, I knew he was shit from the first time he opened his mouth, because just like an artist, there are certain brush strokes that you recognize. And, all these dirtbags that want to fearmonger. I don't know if everyone remembers the show UFO. What was that guy's name? UFO Secrets, something like that. One of these UFO programs. And they had the ex-CIA guy that wore the black leather trench coat with the black cowboy hat. And they would be talking to witnesses, and this guy had his brushstroke was He would step in while the witness is talking about their alien encounter, and he would say, "Were you afraid? Did they make you afraid? Did you feel fear? Did you fear for your life?" At every opportunity, this guy is fear-mongering. Aliens are bad and they need to fucking kill us. They want to take over our planet. So I'm suspicious. Whenever these guys, you know, you have the disclosure group with Stephen Greer. There's enough people in that group right now that would convince any rational person that something the fuck is going on that's being covered up. Now, who's covering it up and why? That is the hard part to expose. You see, it's all, very little is written down. It's all mind to mind, person to person. Very little is written down. And how do you stop something like that? It's so, everything they do is so compartmentalized that you can't get near it by law. So yeah, it's pretty hard to stop. I don't know how it's going to play out. I always thought maybe a false flag incident, that kind of thing, because they need to be the hero. Because people would go, well, wait a minute. So you've had these vehicles that can perform like this, and you let the space shuttle program go on? When you had vehicles that could outperform the space shuttle, you let it continue on? So we had all these astronauts die in these space shuttle accidents that didn't have to die? You see, they need to be able to justify that. People die in war, and they need to justify it as if it is a war. An advanced alien species that has it in for us. That's their golden fucking nut, my friend. That's their unlimited budget for an unlimited amount of time. And that's what I've always feared, because that's the easiest way to get the money. In order for them to further benefit, they need to out themselves now. And it's time. You see, everybody having, 4K video recorders in their pocket now kind of makes it hard to deny the thousands of UFO videos that are taken every year that are obviously something, right? They can no longer poo-pah it. It used to be attack the person telling the story. That was their go-to thing, was, oh, he's a fucking nut job. That worked for a very long time. Now it's working against them. It's not working for them. It's the opposite of working for them. So anyway, we'll see. It's interesting how much is really coming out now and how public it's being discussed and being discussed in Congress and in the Senate. It's interesting to see it opening up quite a bit and starting, the pendulum is starting to swing back the other way, and I'm curious as to how far it's going to go. There is going to be a lot of very hard questions asked the day after. Real hard questions, okay? Laws have been broken, people have been murdered, and it'll all be justified if it saves the world, won't it? See, that's what worries me. They have these vehicles, they have alien bodies and DNA. It's real easy to just crash into a high-rise building and look aliens. See? They need a way of producing them as a threat. Crashing into a building wouldn't make any sense for an advanced species from another planet. So they're having a hard time designing something, I believe, that would be credible to show it as a threat to our planet. It would have to be an attack on our military of some type. That's what I suspect.